Early in the morning of February 20th, 2015, in Mount Pleasant, Texas, the 911 dispatch center received an unusual call. Not from a victim, but from an elderly woman, her voice trembling, saying that her granddaughter had just been through a serious home invasion. When law enforcement arrived at the scene, they learned that inside the two-story home, a young woman had been bound at the wrists and ankles with her mouth covered. Her husband had been pulled out of bed by 3 masked men, violently assaulted, and taken away into the night. 5 children, ranging from 1 to 7 years old, were still sleeping in the upstairs rooms. No one heard any screams. No one knew what had happened. But only hours later, as investigators began piecing the information together, they realized something disturbing. This was not a random break-in. Ernest Lee Ibarra Jr. was born on Christmas Day, 1985, in Mount Pleasant, Texas, a small town where almost everyone knows each other. Those who knew Ernest described him as kind, quiet, and soft-spoken. The type of guy who would help others without expecting anything in return. He worked hard, had no criminal record, avoided conflict, and devoted most of his life to his family. His wife, Samantha, was born in 1989. Before being with Ernest, she had 2 twin children from a previous relationship. Ernest accepted both as his own. Later, the couple had 3 more children together. 5 children. A large family. A life that wasn't easy. Their marriage was not completely peaceful. Ernest spent a lot of time gaming. At one point, he even married a female character in a virtual world, something that deeply angered Samantha. Tension slowly built. In 2014, Samantha called the police, accusing Ernest of domestic abuse. A protective order was issued, forcing Ernest to leave the home. Ernest's family insisted the accusation wasn't true, but the damage had already been done. Toward the end of 2014, Ernest agreed to legally marry Samantha, hoping it would show he was serious about his family and his responsibilities. For a short time, things appeared to stabilize again. Ernest believed his marriage was slowly being repaired, but he had no idea that in silence, a plan had already begun to form. At 2:08 a.m., the Titus County 911 dispatch center received the call. "I've got a home invasion. My granddaughter is tied up." The caller was Rosie Wolford, Samantha's mother. She had just received a frantic phone call from her daughter, broken sentences, panicked, barely coherent. Rosie immediately called her sister, Ginger Kesterson, who lived closer to the house, asking her to go check right away. Then she called 911.
Where's she at?
Ginger drove through the darkness to the 2-story home. When she entered, she found Samantha upstairs, her hands bound behind her back, her legs tightly tied, her mouth gagged. As Ginger untied her, Samantha trembled as she said that 3 men had broken into the house, pistol-whipped her husband, and dragged him away.
Are you still talking with Sheriff?
Tell me that I'm staying.
Tell her you're here.
I did.
She still put you
She
on hold
said she still has a few questions for me before I can get off the phone.
Let me have it and I'll take care of it and you talk to them.
Yeah, talk to me.
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. It's me bad.
So walk me through what happened.
I don't honestly know what happened. I was in bed asleep, and we heard a noise, and the second I was able to open my eyes, somebody grabbed me and jerked me out of the bed and slammed me down on the ground and started tying me up and put a knife to my throat. Told me don't move.
Okay.
Titus County deputies arrived just minutes later. They encountered Samantha and her aunt coming down the spiral staircase. Santa was crying uncontrollably, describing how she'd been pulled from bed, restrained, and threatened not to move. She said the 3 men were dressed all in black, wearing masks and gloves, leaving no identifying features visible. She didn't recognize their voices, didn't recognize their faces.
It's only.
She was dragged downstairs so she could see her husband one last time. His face was covered in injuries, dark red streaks running down from his scalp.
522 County.
When they dragged me downstairs, because they had him downstairs and they were separating us, I went downstairs and his face was covered in blood. And he had got such a...
Then they took him out of the house. The 5 children slept through everything. Not one of them woke up.
I didn't focus on the guy, and I was focused on him.
Do you remember what colors, anything like that?
It's a black gun.
Okay. Alright. And y'all were upstairs?
Asleep.
Okay. Are you doing okay? Do you need medical attention or anything?
He just slapped me in the face. If it's not a bruised cut, I mean...
Got some redness on your face.
He said, look at her, and he wouldn't look up at me.
How's the babies?
They're all in bed asleep. They never mess with the kids. And then he asked him, how are my kids? Where are my kids? He said, he punched him in the mouth with the gun and said, I ain't here for no kid. And I think they might have knocked a couple of his teeth out. And they jerked his hair up and said, look
The
at
initial
her.
scene
Look at
appeared
her.
to support her statement.
And I had my
Shattered
hands
glass
up.
at the front door.
And he looked at me.
Signs of disturbance in the living room. Dark red stains near the couch. Then Samantha remembered one critical detail. One of the men had taken Ernest's phone.
I don't know what type
Police
of people
immediately
that is.
began tracking the signal. At approximately 3:20 a.m., the phone pinged in Pittsburgh, Texas. But by the time officers arrived, the signal vanished. The phone had been powered off. While search teams were racing against the clock to find Ernest, one detective began to realize that Samantha's story didn't fully line up.
Over here. She helped to tie me
How'd she find out that you were a...
because they took his phone, but they didn't take mine. I had mine hidden,
Uh-huh.
so I was able to.
So he's got his phone?
No, they have his phone.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. What's his phone number? You don't know,
430.
Do you got it stored in your phone? No, get that number from me.
As part of the department was sent out to track Ernest's phone, the remaining investigators at the scene began doing what they always do in serious missing person cases. They started over. Every statement, every small detail. Detective Chris Bragg sat across from Samantha inside the house, still carrying the stale weight of the night before. She kept wiping away tears, her voice shaky, trying to recount the events in order. According to her, the masked men moved fast. They navigated through the darkness, went straight to the bedroom, and subdued both adults within seconds, without making enough noise to wake 5 sleeping children. Bragg listened without interrupting. But to someone who had worked hundreds of home invasion cases, certain details didn't need to be spoken to stand out.
Page 2. He's not really making sense for her. She's
No, that's what I was expecting to see, like more. Because, I mean, she's saying he got hit several times, pistol whipped or whatever, several times. With a black pistol is all she knows. Everybody's wearing all black. Black shoes.
Random break-ins are chaotic. There's screaming. Things get ransacked. Mistakes happen. Here, everything was too precise.
If you would, go downstairs, bring her up there, and out the door, watch the front door, make sure nobody's coming in. They'll come up there and kind of walk in. Okay. She said.
Samantha insisted she couldn't identify any of the suspects. No faces, no voices, no physical traits. But minutes later, she recalled that while moving through the house, one of the men called out another's name,
Nobody comes in or out.
Luke. Just a name. No last name, no context. Bragg noted it and kept going. He asked about the call for help. Samantha said that after the men left, she was still bound with her hands behind her back and gagged, but somehow managed to grab her phone and call her mother.
Hold on just a second. Let's wait till he gets back.
Are you guys trying to accuse me of something?
No. Not right now. We're just trying to get all the details of everything that happened.
Bragg paused. If her mouth was covered, how did she speak on the phone? If her hands were tied behind her back, how did she remove the gag? Samantha said she managed somehow, that everything happened fast, that it was confusing. But her answers began shifting with each question. At first, she said she didn't know how the men arrived. Then she suggested they might have been waiting nearby. Then she added that one of them was taller than the other two. These details hadn't appeared in her original statement. Bragg asked to see Samantha's phone. The moment he held it, he noticed something else that didn't make sense. The entire call and message history had been wiped clean.
So she called you first?
Phones don't do that on their own. Someone had deleted it. The interview shifted. Bragg asked about the vehicle used to take Ernest away. Samantha initially said she didn't see anything. When pressed again, she hesitated, then said it might have been a Chevy Equinox. That vehicle wasn't unfamiliar. It was hers. The three men had used Samantha's own vehicle to take her husband, a detail she had never mentioned before. The room went quiet. Samantha looked down. Her answers became shorter, slower, less certain. And then, under the pressure of the questions, she finally said the one thing she'd been avoiding from the start. She knew who the three men were.
See her in the living area, and she was hollering, I'm up here. So I go up against the wall, and her hands were tied behind her back. Pink was in her mouth, really, So before I untied her, I was asking where her was. So I tore the door off the hinges to get to the kids, and I counted, and then I went.
3 names had just been spoken, but Ernest Ibarra was still missing. And at that moment, no one knew whether he was alive or dead. Only that police had just a few hours left to find him before whatever trail existed out there disappeared for good. After the woman spoke the 3 names, the atmosphere inside the house changed instantly. From that moment on, this was no longer a vague missing person search. It became a targeted manhunt with clearly identified suspects. Police quickly split their resources. One group stayed behind with the woman to complete her statement and secure the scene, while the other immediately moved to locate the 3 men she had named. Time became the most critical factor. Every minute that passed reduced the chances of finding the missing man alive.
You've got my family here. You can ask Sin. My mom talks to me every single day. She knows every fact.
Did you have anything to do?
Dead. He's dead?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Yes, if he is dead, no.
You think he's alive?
I hope so.
Well, I am. I'm pretty much what they consider an expert in this field. I've worked a lot of these. I've looked at these. Okay, I'll tell you something, Sam. I've been out on a crime scene. Look, and this is why that it's very important to have a privilege to be honest, because I'm going to tell you what, the evidence will found. I've questioned her. She stick with the story. Probably wrong age or whatever. There's more that went on. We always find out. Because they always get together. Oh, well, it's the story we're telling you. Stick to it. Don't you change. Well, actually, that's kind of the best thing that happens to us. Because then when you stick to your story like that, and then we piece it in the end all together, then it's real easy to take this to a jury and show that either you were a liar or that you were the loving wife that you said you were.
I'm not gonna care to tell you I'm a loving wife. We've had her go about.
Here's the thing, Sam. The thing is, I still say, and the proof's going to be in the pudding that you know whether you're telling us. I think you know exactly who did this. Now, even beating him, that might have happened because there is blood in the
That really,
house.
I promise you, that's sort of
Yes.
true.
But I'm saying, I think you know. I think you know exactly who did this, and I think you're scared, and that's what I'm trying to beat in your head. Don't let fear keep you from telling the truth, because just to make you guilty is when we prove that you lied to us in here.
But if
and number
that's the
one-
case, then I do know who did it and why they. Doesn't that make me like an accomplice?
Nope. No, that makes you a scared, but exactly what that makes you.
I know,
Okay.
but it's suspicious.
Okay.
I've been up at the hospital with my friend Charlotte.
Okay.
And she's got a guy there, and I swear to God, I cannot go up there tonight and say any of this.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of friends around here, my life will be in a lot of danger.
Okay.
But the only other thing I know is venting to her and talking to her about problems like I just told you. I have a problem with talking to my friends about our problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have many of them. So when I do get with one of my friends, I want to talk about
Okay.
any problems we might have had. And honestly, lately it hasn't been many.
Okay.
We have had problems in the past, and I hadn't seen Charlotte in a long time.
Okay. Come on with it.
And she's got this guy in the room with her, and he's talking about how a man shouldn't treat a woman that way, and how you don't do those things to a person,
Okay.
and he's gonna deal with the situation. I didn't take him seriously.
Okay. You see, Sam, you know who did this, but that does not
But
make
I
you
don't
guilty. I'm
have
still.
any proof that he did. I just have what he said.
Okay. What?
And
Who
he's
is this
got-
guy?
His name's John.
John who?
Friend at the local hospital here.
I don't know any of his friends. But yesterday at the hospital, he had a guy that I do know from town with him. His name is Tay.
Who?
Tay Rhymes.
Tay?
Tay. He's black.
Tay Riley's a black male?
Yes.
Okay, you had him with him? Where's he from?
I didn't say yes, he had him at the hospital with him. I cannot guarantee that these are the right people.
But you know what?
I know that
you know
he's
in your heart,
got-
Sam. You know this guy did it. You know he did it. And here's the thing.
But why? Unless
here's
he's
the
got
thing.
serious
You better-
psychological issues, why?
Well,
I
what
only
did you
know-
say? What did you say when he said he's going to take care of that problem?
I just laughed at him. I thought he was joking.
So now all of a sudden, why you bring him out? Because you know that it was him.
Because
Why do you know it was him?
because of his prison record.
Her troubles about how sorry her husband is.
Don't know his name, but he pretty much fits the bill of the third guy.
There was three people?
Yes, at the house there was 3 people. And at the hospital yesterday, you can look at the cameras, there was a third guy.
But you don't know who he is?
No.
You don't know his name?
No, they kept calling him JoJo. And I asked
Third
John what his name was, and he said Jose. But that's all.
There's a possibility this gas may have actually had something to do.
Now, what room is she in?
218.
Is she there now?
She should be. She was last night.
Just before 8 a.m., only a few hours after the first 911 call, officers located Jonathan Sanford and Jose Antonio Ponce near Titus County Regional Medical Center. Body camera footage shows the two men preparing to leave after breakfast, calm, unhurried, showing no signs of panic, as if nothing had happened the night before.
And had
Police approached them in the parking lot and ordered them to stop. Both were detained without significant resistance. Right there, before being transported, Jonathan Sanford began to talk. His voice was unsteady, his eyes constantly scanning, and within a short time, he agreed to cooperate. Sanford told investigators that the three men had taken Ernest out of town during the night. driving through Pittsburgh and heading toward Camp County. Their destination was a remote area near Lake of the Pines. Thick woods, muddy terrain, and little foot traffic. The footage cuts to patrol vehicles traveling in a line along narrow roads, leaving populated areas behind and moving deeper into rural land.
Is it okay? The one, and I can prove this. I don't believe me, as God is my witness. All you have to do, you can take you and 15 of the officers, I don't care. Take me in front of my wife, and my wife will tell you a piece of what she overheard.
Well, now, I've actually kind of heard.
And my wife will tell you. What if the law start questioning you about it? Talking about her, talking about Samantha? And Samantha said, and I quote, I'm an actress. I can make anybody believe anything.
She is telling them, you guys just don't, you just do this for me. And
Hey guys, I'm just kind of posting a vlog about what's been going on with me.
where she,
15 weird things about
I am at a tattoo convention.
to me just has me drove to the edge. I'm like really easy to piss off.
You know what this is about, buddy. You know exactly what it is. You know what happened to Smith's house last night. That's what we got. That's what we'll talk to.
As we're going, they tell me I go here, we'll want to drive. We go all the way out to the country. Get out to the country. Next thing I know, they walk off.
By themselves?
No, they walk off, stop, like they go off over here, like, okay. Let me see that card real quick. Like, this is the wooded area, there's a creek bed here, we're parked here. Alright, they walk off around this way a little bit. So I start walking back to the video going, in my mind process, this is my neck of the woods now.
So you know where you're at?
Yeah, this is my neck of the
We're
woods.
fixing to go out there, me and you.
Where I got
Sanford continued giving directions, instructing officers to turn off the main road and follow overgrown trails choked with brush and thorns. Police exited their vehicles and proceeded on foot, pushing through dense forest, step by step, deeper into an area known as Sand Crossing. The weather began to shift, fog lifting, low clouds signaling rain could arrive at any moment. Eventually, they reached a low-lying area near a small creek. Sanford stopped and pointed ahead. The body camera slows as officers move forward and discover Ernest's body lying on the damp ground. No signs of life.
it's bittersweet.
Ernest Ibarra, 29 years old, a father of 5, was found here just hours after being taken from his home. Had the search been delayed, had the statement come any later, the incoming rain would have erased critical evidence, making recovery nearly impossible. Once the body was confirmed, Sanford and Ponce were arrested that same morning. But the manhunt wasn't over. The third suspect, Octavius Rhymes, had not been at the hospital and had already left the area. One day later, police tracked Rhymes to a grocery store in Pittsburgh. He was taken into custody without incident, bringing the search for the direct suspects to an end. Meanwhile, the woman remained at home, not yet under arrest. But the investigation had taken a sharp turn. Because even with 3 men in custody and a body recovered, one major question remained unanswered.
I'm telling you that now.
So
I haven't. She has no clue about none.
here's the deal, all right? We need the gun. You could be charged with the same thing.
She was.
I know what the.
You could be an accomplice to murder, capital murder. That's death penalty. So if you know where the gun's at,
She knows where the gun's at.
you
She's
need
got the
to
box.
you need to go ahead and
Don't
tell
know where
us.
the fucking gun's at. I just told you that.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more opportunity.
Dude, you can
Give me the
handcuff
gun.
me. I don't know
Well,
where the
that's
goddamn
probably
gun is
fixing to
at.
happen. That's probably about to happen because I think you're a liar.
I don't give
You've
a
got
damn.
the freaking box. You've got the dead gun.
Where'd the gun go?
I don't know.
Who was truly behind everything that had happened? 3 suspects were in custody. The body had been found. But when investigators began analyzing the deleted phone data, they realized that Ernest's death didn't begin in the woods. It began inside the very house he once believed was safest.
There you go, right there, I bet you. It's the Oprah, the gun.
After the arrests and the recovery of Ernest's body, the investigation didn't slow down. For law enforcement, identifying who physically committed the killing was only part of the story. What mattered next was determining who made it happen. Attention returned to the woman's phone. Every call and message history had been wiped clean on the night of the incident. But deleting data from a phone doesn't mean it's gone. Cellular providers retain detailed records of all communications. A data request was sent. When the carrier records came back, the true timeline began to emerge. The logs showed the woman had been in contact with the 3 men for days leading up to the night Ernest was taken. The calls and messages weren't random. They were consistent, deliberate, and increased in frequency as the date approached. At first, the conversations revolved around different ways to remove Ernest from the shared household. But as those options were ruled out, the messages became shorter, more direct, and clearly instructional. During the window when Ernest was being taken from the house, the woman's phone remained active. Records showed her monitoring events from a distance, maintaining constant contact with the men carrying out the act. Some messages instructed them to shut off Ernest's phone. Others directed them to discard the device and leave the area as quickly as possible. These timestamps perfectly aligned with the suspect's statements, and with the moment Ernest's phone signal disappeared. There were no gaps, no ambiguity. The story of a random home invasion collapsed entirely. In its place stood evidence of a premeditated plan, carefully coordinated step by step, in which the woman was not only aware of what was happening, but actively directing it from start to finish. 2 days after Ernest was killed, law enforcement returned to the woman's residence. This time, they weren't there for another statement. They arrived with an arrest warrant. The woman was handcuffed and taken into custody, facing charges related to orchestrating and directing the events that led to her husband's death. Every message had been deleted from the phone, but they were never gone. And those digital records turned someone once seen as a victim into the person responsible for the entire tragedy. After the investigation was completed, the entire case file was forwarded to the district attorney's office with an overwhelming amount of evidence, including suspect statements, the location where the body was recovered, and communication records proving the plan had been premeditated. 2 of the 3 men directly involved accepted plea deals. They admitted their roles in the kidnapping and the death of Ernest in exchange for avoiding lengthy trials. Each received sentences measured in decades, long enough that they would spend the majority of their remaining lives behind bars. The 3rd man rejected a plea deal and took his case to trial. A jury found him guilty, and the court imposed a sentence spanning multiple decades, to be served consecutively with other convictions related to the case. As for the woman, her legal process unfolded across 2 separate trials. In the first, she was convicted on charges related to orchestrating the kidnapping and received a lengthy prison sentence. In the second trial, prosecutors presented phone records and testimony from her co-conspirators, demonstrating that she had directed the operation from beginning to end. The jury found her guilty of the most serious charge, and the court imposed consecutive sentencing. In total, the woman's sentence exceeded 100 years in prison, ensuring she would never return to life outside of incarceration. The verdicts were in, but for the 5 children in that house, the story was far from over. For Ernest's family, no sentence could bring him back. 5 children would grow up without a father. 2 of them, the woman's children from a previous relationship, whom Ernest had treated as his own, would have to face the reality that the man who protected and cared for them was sent to his death by their own mother. The 3 children Ernest shared with the woman would grow up carrying a truth no child should ever have to hear. Their father was murdered, and the person responsible was the one who gave them life. For investigators, the case was closed legally, but it left a heavy mark. This wasn't just a homicide. It was a betrayal that unfolded inside what was supposed to be the safest place of all, a family home. Several officers involved later acknowledged that if the truth had been told from the beginning, if critical information hadn't been hidden, the outcome might have been different. But the choices had already been made, and the consequences were irreversible. The woman will spend the rest of her life in prison. So will the 3 men who carried out the act. But the ones who bear the longest-lasting consequences are not those behind bars. It's the children, growing up with the memory of a family destroyed from within. The story of Ernest Ibarra is more than a criminal case. It's a reminder that the greatest dangers don't always come from the outside. Sometimes they come from the places we trust the most. Justice in this case came slowly, but it didn't disappear. The truth was hidden in darkness, but in the end, it surfaced through details that no one could erase. Ernest will never return to his children, but at the very least, the people responsible for his death will never have the chance to harm anyone else. And for the 5 children growing up in the aftermath of this tragedy, the truth, painful as it is, remains the only thing that can help them understand that what happened was never their fault. Thank you for watching our video all the way to the end. If you found this story meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can continue following us through future cases. We'll see you in the next video.